Come and gather with me in my little corner and let's talk books. Some great books I've read, and let's just call this the gathering corner. You know, reading can really help you relieve stress, gives you that chance to escape. Hi, everybody. Happy Friday. Weekend's almost here. Um, just thought I'd talk to you a little bit about a couple of the books that I just finished up since my last little book review. And July was a really super busy month for me, so I only got a couple of books completely finished and read and halfway through a current one. And so I just wanted to say, if you don't have any plans for the weekend or you're in an area where you're expecting rain, maybe you'll want to stop at the bookstore and pick up a couple of these. One of the books that I did read, I don't physically have it with me because I've sent it on to a friend, is called What Alice Forgot, and it's by Lisa Unger. I did review Beautiful Lies by Lisa Unger last time, and this is the same author. And I like her style of writing. I think it keeps you active and engaged in the book. She tends to flip-flop back and forth with characters, and I tend to like that because when you're finished with a segment, you start to think about, oh, it could be this or it's that. And then she goes on to the next character, Lisa Unger, and that is called What Alice Forgot. Alice is in her late 20s. She's married to her beloved best friend, Nick. She's expecting her first baby. And things in life are great. And then she's quite shocked and surprised when she comes to on the floor at the gym, and she doesn't even like to exercise, and so she's sort of perplexed, like, what happened? And the author is really creative about what goes on in her imagination on her way to the hospital, on the ride in the ambulance, that when she gets to the hospital, she's concerned because she's pregnant and she wants to make sure that, you know, the baby's okay, and, you know, she got a hit on the head and you know, at the exercise place, and you know, she's not pregnant. And so they do call a family member, which is her sister, to come to the hospital, and then her mom is notified, and, you know, they're the ones basically having to explain to her, yeah, no, you're not pregnant with your first child. You've had 3 children, and you've lost 10 years of your life. So 10 years of her life wiped out from that hit on the head. And so she's not in her late 20s, she's in her late 30s, and then she comes to find out and discovers that she's like in the process of a divorce. And that just can't be. She's in love with her husband. In love with her husband. There is no way any of that's true. So the book is about her getting reacquainted with the 10 years that she's lost. And it takes you down a journey to figure out, why would she be divorcing a man that she wholeheartedly loves? And how could she not remember her first child being born, her second child, their birthdays? Or more importantly, why her family's telling her she's going to get a divorce. So, good book. I like her style of writing, and I'd recommend it. The second book I read was by an author, Melanie Benjamin, and it's called The Swans of Fifth Avenue. And this is a book based on the character Truman Capote. Now, you may be familiar with Truman Capote. He's, of course, a brilliant literary author, In Cold Blood, Breakfast at Tiffany's, and it's about the elite, these 5 women who are among the elite. He refers to them as his swans. So this is what the book's about. To all appearances, glamorous Babe Paley has it all. Money, beauty, jewels, a prestigious husband, gorgeous home, influential friends, including Slim Keith, CZ Gust, Gloria Guinness, and Pamela Churchill. But beneath Babe's elegantly composed exterior dwells a woman longing for true love and connection. Enters Truman Capote. This diminutive golden-haired genius with a larger-than-life personality explodes onto the scene, setting Babe and her circle of socialite swans aflutter. Through Babe, Truman gains an unlikely entry into the enviable lives of Manhattan's elite, along with unparalleled access to the scandal and gossip of Babe's powerful circle. Sure of the loyalty of the man she calls True Heart, Babe never imagines the destruction Truman will leave in his wake. But once a storyteller, always a storyteller, even when the stories aren't his to tell. It says by Cosmopolitan, a scandal of all ages. So basically, stories about a group of women, characters, the elite, the most elite of the elite. And Truman Capote, if any of you are familiar, an odd individual, different, literary scholar, and Breakfast at Tiffany's, In Cold Blood. But somehow he weaves his way into this elite group. He befriends them. And Babe, the main character, finds such comfort in his friendship. And basically opens that up to the rest of her group that, you know, he is true to her. And no threat to anybody, but he became very entwined with this group. And so they wined and dined him and, you know, took him to places that he never would have gone to before, and just kind of exposed him to that glitzy world. But as the story goes, he learned about their lives, and they shared details with him that they had never shared with anybody. And he exposed those details in a book. And the remainder of what he did affected their lives and how it did. I like that time era, so that's why I was interested in it. And I just like reading about, you know, their glamorous parties and how they prepare for them and everything that goes in with, you know, the organizations and how they thought at that time of, you know, people of that stature and, you know, their status quo. And so that was kind of fun. And but it wasn't like mysterious and gripping. But as you got into it and you're getting into the last couple hundred pages of it, it gets very interesting because, you know, even though we see something on the outside, and you see someone that you might admire or you're envious of, and you just think, oh my gosh, they have it all. And, you know, their hearts are lonely and their souls are sad. And so a lot of the story is about that. And his character and, you know, his struggles in life too. And so it's just a good book. I'm sure a lot of what's told in here is probably accurate with some of these elite people. But anyways, good book. Another book I read and finished that I don't have the actual book here because I've passed it on to a friend is called What Alice Forgot, and it's by Lisa Unger. And I did review a book called Beautiful Lies, also by Lisa Unger, in my last video. And this book in particular, What Alice Forgot, it was good. I love Lisa Unger's style of writing. She flops back and forth with characters, so it keeps you guessing. And you finish a segment and you think, wow, what could that be about? And sometimes what you're thinking is totally not what it's about. And sometimes it kind of takes you down that path, and then there's a curve. And I like that because it's suspenseful, it grips you in, and makes you think about what's next. And she's very good in introducing and I guess describing each character's personality. So you get a sense of really knowing that character. So the story is basically about a 29-year-old woman in love with her best friend, her love, her husband, expecting her first child, all's good in the world. And she finds herself coming to on the floor of at the gym. And so there's been an accident, she's hit on her head, and they're taking her away to the hospital in an ambulance. And the things that the author writes about that go through her mind are funny and entertaining and kind of, you know, it just sort of grips you into the story. But come to find out, when she's at the hospital, she's very concerned about her first pregnancy and wants to make sure that they're aware of it. And of course, some of her family has been notified, and one being her sister and her mom. And so she's like confused. She can't figure out, well, why is my husband not here? Where is he? And his name's Nick. And then, of course, she's told, no, you're not pregnant. And she just knew, I'm pregnant with my first child. And her sister is trying to explain to her, no, you're not. And then she has to explain to her, you have 3 children and you're in the process of getting a divorce. So Alice has lost 10 years of her life. She's no longer 28 or 29, but she's 38. And so 10 years of her life is gone. She has to be reintroduced to 3 children that she doesn't remember, except being pregnant with the first child. She doesn't remember their birthdays. She doesn't remember anything. And she certainly doesn't remember why she would possibly be in the process of getting a divorce from her husband. So, it's a good book. This author has a way of taking you down sort of what I call a winding road. I like that in an author. I like that in a book. So again, what Alice forgot, and I kept thinking about myself, what if I lost 10 years of my life? Oh my gosh, devastating to have to look at a picture and not even recognize it, or look at a child you had and not remember. I can't even, in my mind, I couldn't even fathom that. But good book. So if you want something interesting to read, that's a good one to pick up. And another book that I'm halfway through, but I'll just tell you about a little bit. It's called Dinner with Edward, and it's by Isabel Vincent. Charming book. It's about an elderly man who loses the love of his life, his wife, that he's been married to forever and ever. And she's quite elderly, in their 90s when she passes. And he just loves to cook and create these beautiful, elegant meals. And this book is about his daughter asks a friend of hers, would you check on my dad? Since her mom passed, his wife, she was afraid it would be so devastating for him. So her friend, whose life is kind of in an upheaval, does check on him and enters into a very beautiful relationship with him. Not a romantic relationship, but he teaches her so much, and it is a great book. I just started it 2 nights ago. I'm halfway through it. It's so easy to read, so fun, and it's just, you know, it warms your heart. So this is a great book too. And my next read that I haven't started but picked up is, this is called Mademoiselle Chanel, and it's by C.W. Gortner. It's a novel, and it's about her life, and I've read and watched some documentaries on her, and I'm always intrigued by Chanel. I mean, come on, who isn't? But, you know, this is somebody who was quite different back in the day, and did not let anything get in her way. Nothing. And of course we know what the story is behind Chanel. But so this is my next novel. I just thought it would be fun to read. So I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you pick up something great to read, because I'm telling you, sometimes in the midst of what's going on in your life and just need some time to just escape, good books to read are the best. So until next time, be kind, be humble, and age gracefully. Bye.